All right. Hey, everybody. Oh my gosh. I've been waiting for this moment for so long. Dr. Patty and I are kicking off our first episode of Let's Get Real. Patty, are you stoked or what?
I am so excited because I am probably one of the most transparent people that you will meet. And I say it like it is, kindly, gently. And yeah, because I believe that it's better to include people than to exclude people. So that's who I am. And I am so excited to be here with you, Nicole. This is great. Us Jersey girls getting real.
Yeah, exactly. We have a tendency to say it how it is, don't we?
We do. We do.
So before we jump into our first episode, Patty, do you want to just share a little bit with our audience about who you are, what you've been doing for the last, oh, I don't know, so many decades?
Yeah. We're not going to talk
You got a
about
lot going
how
on.
many decades. Yep, 42 years in practice, and just in the last 2 years moved out to Life West to
Mhm.
support my hubby and Life West as he became president in July. But prior to that, when I started out, I started my own practice in the Back Bay of Boston. And I was there and met Peter, and then we decided that we wanted to practice together. So I sold that practice, but I am so glad that I got to practice on my own because as we're going to talk about today, women in chiropractic.
Mhm.
Um,
Right.
I don't know that I would have believe that I could have done it on my own if I had met Peter before I created my practice. So I'm
Right.
so glad that that's the order that I did it in. And so I feel like I can help women in chiropractic and men, but women
Mhm.
especially who are starting out on their own and kind of tell them how I did it, share with them and offer them some, inspiration because it's scary when you first get out of school. I'm with the students now, and there's some ninth quarter students. They're like, oh my God, we're going into clinic. What do we do? We're so scared.
Mhm.
We've got all the academics. Now we're going to move into this, and how do we take that? And, anyway, so I'm married to Dr. Peter Kevorkian. I have
Mhm.
two kids, Katie and Christopher. They're in their late 30s. I just have had a wonderful experience in chiropractic. I have sat face to face, knee to knee with, I counted 8,750 individual people through my 42 years of
Um,
practice. And I feel like one of my greatest gifts is I know how to read people, and
mhm.
I never do a report of findings the same. I have
Right.
bullets that I follow, but I gear it towards that person in front of me, where they're
Mhm.
at, what's going on for them that day, so that I can connect with them. And I kind of can feel I empathize with people, and I can
Mhm.
sense them and be able to carry them along on the chiropractic journey. And I've been very successful with that. And that's probably the biggest thing that I want to share with people. And so I'm excited to be here. How about you? Tell me about you.
Well, first of all, Patty, I think what you said, I need to just pause for a second because
Uh-huh.
I think what you said, for those of you who are in chiropractic school or early in practice, I think what you said was like the number one key on how to be successful in practice. And that is that, yeah, you have your like scripts or your bullet points or whatever you're going to use, but the most important thing is building rapport and connection with that patient. And if you can build a relationship with somebody, they will be your patient for life. If somebody said to me, what is one golden nugget to be successful in practice? That I would tell them exactly what you just said. That's
Yeah,
awesome. Awesome.
absolutely. And to prove that, in the 42 years we've been in practice, we have right now, we give out our cards to people for they can so they can sign in. And
Right.
we have over 220 people who have been with us well over 20 years. 10 of them have been with us for 40 years. And then
Wow.
we have 30-year people, 20-year people, 10-year people, and we give them a different color card. So it's really cool that people say, "Oh, what does your card mean?" "Oh, I've been here 40 years." 40 years? Yeah,
That's a
yeah,
great idea.
yeah.
Guys, I hope you guys are writing these nuggets down. We're not even in like a couple minutes into our podcast and she's dropping bombs on you guys. That's awesome. I love that. I might steal that, by the way, FYI. I
Oh,
might steal it for
go
my
for it.
practice.
Steal anything.
All right, yeah. So it's funny that you had mentioned like these ninth quarter students because I remember, going through for me, chiropractic school was pretty easy, up until getting to the end. And I remember having nightmares about going into practice.
Yeah.
Literally, I had a nightmare. I'd wake up with like the sweats, my hair started falling out. And
Oh.
I was really nervous about going to practice. So I graduated from Parker in 2000. So I've been a chiropractor for, I guess, 25 years, going on 26 years here. And I got out. I associated for 1 year with an awesome female chiropractor, Dr. Julie Madeira. She practices in Hershey, outside of Hershey, Pennsylvania
Hmm?
in a small town called Mechanicsburg. No one ever knows Mechanicsburg, so I just
I
say
do.
Hershey. You
Yeah.
do?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I practiced with her, and that was like a great mentorship because it was mentorship from a female. And at that point, I was very used to getting mentorship from males because of like, we're going into our topic. By the way, our topic today, you guys, is breaking the mold and thriving as women in a male dominated profession, a male dominated field. So I had great mentorship from her. And after a year, I decided I wanted to open my own practice. So I've been in private practice for like almost 25 years. And it's been great. It's been such a blessing to my life. My husband was not a chiropractor. He was actually my husband Joe was a civil engineer actually. So he
So was
understood
Peter.
chiropractic. Yeah, he understood chiropractic better than some chiropractors understand chiropractic. So he was a huge supporter of chiropractic. He was getting chiropractic care regularly since he was 12 years old. That's how his family grew up. They grew up under the regular care of a chiropractor. And then the same couple of years ago, I decided to launch Thrive, and Thrive is I don't love calling it a coaching program. I'm not sure exactly what to call it. It's very different from a traditional like practice management coaching program because we literally take new doctors or newer doctors and we hold them by the hand through the entire process of launching a practice and then growing a practice. So that's what I've been doing the last few years. So
Great.
exciting
Well,
stuff.
we have a few things in common. Both our husbands were civil engineers,
Hmm.
and we're from Jersey.
Hmm.
And sounds like we have similar practices and passionate about chiropractic. I would say that when I was in school, I wasn't nervous. I was excited. I was going to be 30, so I don't know how old you were, but it was my second career. I was a
Oh,
phys ed and health undergraduate, and
oh,
so chiropractic was part of my life. I'd been going since I was a baby. My parents
right.
just took us to chiropractors. So,
Hmm.
wait just a second. So yeah, so it was part of my life, and then when I finally decided, which is a story I wanted to talk about because that was part of what we wanted to talk about, women in chiropractic.
Hmm.
And can
Yeah.
I can I tell the story?
Yeah. I'll go for it.
So I've been going to chiropractors my whole life, oh, men chiropractors. So when I graduated from my undergraduate degree, and I was seeing my chiropractor one day, about a year later, I said, I really don't want to teach phys ed and health.
Hmm.
I want to do something to help people. And he says, why don't you be a chiropractor? And I said, this is now back in 1975, 6. And I said, I didn't know women could be chiropractors.
Wow.
Nicole, my gosh, now we got 50% of the students are women. So I really truly was oblivious to it. Maybe I knew, but I just, it never registered. And
Right.
so he gave me the names of a few women to see. I went to see them, and then I was in chiropractic school 3 months later. So
Wow.
yeah, so the whole thing with women in chiropractic, there weren't many practicing women chiropractors back then.
Right.
And we probably know the reasons why. You come out of school, and back then nobody ever thought of not I don't think anybody thought you grow up and you don't get married and have kids. That was
Right.
my generation. That was what we did.
Mhm.
This new generation, that's not what they do. They don't,
Right.
they're not having kids. I was listening to some statistics about how the college enrollments are down because people haven't been having kids. This
Wow.
last generation. And they say
Yeah.
by, the next 10 years or so, the enrollments are going to go down another 30% or so because there's not enough kids around.
Wow.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm not giving you the exact, numbers, but
Right.
check it out. It's pretty interesting what's going on in higher ed.
Well, let's see. So when I went to chiropractic school 25 years ago, it was a 70-30 ratio. 70% of the students were men and 30% were women. So even when I would look out, I remember sitting in class and looking out and seeing a sea of men, right? So that's
Mhm.
really good. Like me, I was single at that point. So that was that's before
But
Joe and
yeah,
I. So that was pretty awesome, right?
yeah,
But so now it's up to 50-50. That's right?
yeah, yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. It was 10% when I was in school. We had a class of 220 people and we had 20 women.
Could
So
you
I mean
imagine if
the pickings were much better then too.
I know, right? Lucky girl. Only New Jersey girls would talk like this, by the way. So when you first got out of chiropractic, well, let's being in chiropractic school, did you have when you were in school, did you have any challenges where you didn't expect with being a woman versus being a man? I mean, were there any what were some of the challenges that you faced being a woman in school?
Um, Getting asked out on dates by many, many people.
By too many.
And I had a boyfriend, but nobody ever saw him because he wasn't a chiropractor. And
Right,
they're all like, "You're lying. You don't really have a boyfriend. You're just saying that." Even to this
right,
day, Ron Overstein will say to me, "You, he wasn't a real person." I'm like, "Yes, he was. He was a real person." But anyway, um, you know what, Nicole? I, I hate to say it, but I didn't have a lot of challenges. I really didn't.
mhm,
My parents just, raised us in a way that my mom was the one really who raised us. My dad worked all the time. He worked 90 hours a week in retail. And so
right,
it was my mom, and she did everything. She taught us how to fix things, and we mowed the lawn. We did all the stuff that typically men would do in the house. We
right.
fixed the light bulbs. We fixed the furniture. And so I just I didn't see that as a woman I was discriminated against. And maybe I was just
Mhm.
blind to it because I live life through rose-colored glasses, you know. And so I really didn't have challenges in that way. I had challenges physically because I would put
Mhm.
my all into a quarter, and at the end of the quarter, I would totally
Mhm.
collapse and be in bed. Everybody would
Mhm.
go out and say, "We're going to go on vacation," and
Right.
I was in bed, dealing with. I finally allowed myself to, whatever needed to express.
Decompress.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was that. I loved school. Again, remember, it was my second career. So I
Hmm.
put my all into it. I did really well. I was the note taker for the class, not like these days you get your little MacBook Pro or whatever they give you, your tablet.
Hmm.
And I took all the notes, copied them, and then sold them to the students.
I
And
probably want some of your notes.
oh my God. And then And then I sold them for like a penny more than what
Mhm,
they cost me. And then we took the money,
mhm.
and at the end of each quarter, we'd go out and party with the money. So
Nice.
I've always been into inclusiveness and
Mhm.
wanting chiropractors to get together. And so when I see the diversion of what's happening in our profession, it upsets me. So,
Sure.
and I just went off in that tangent. But it's
That's okay.
men that are creating the divisions is the word actually I wanted to use. A lot of men
Right.
out there just like testosterone and I
Yeah.
don't like what you're doing, so I don't like you and I'm going to talk bad about you. And I just let's try to figure
Yeah.
out where we can come together. And yeah, we're people. None of us is going to have, exactly the same idea about how to do things as the next person. But for God's
Yeah.
sake, let's bring this profession forward. So that's why we
Yeah.
started the League of Chiropractic Women way back when in
Mhm.
2012. We thought, well, maybe we'll have an impact, number one, on women to have women, become empowered to step out
Right.
there and start speaking. And since then, many, many, many women out of the LCW have
Mhm.
League of Chiropractic Women, I should explain what those letters mean, have come out and are speaking on stages now, and other women are starting other women's
Yeah.
groups. And it's so important because women
Yeah.
don't feel empowered when they're 70% men like you had and 30% women,
Right.
or like I had 90% men and 10% women. But I didn't let
Yeah.
that stop me, Nicole. I just kind of, you know,
Well, something you said I want to point out, like this point that you made is like, because you and I are similar in this way, and I felt the same exact way. I don't know if I had rose-colored glasses on or I was just that naive. I used to have a mentor that said some of the be stupid because the stupidest people are the most successful because you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you're getting yourself into,
so
right?
true, so
And
true.
so I had the same mindset. Like I never felt like I was being discriminated against, or I never really had any challenges that I even knew of. But I think the power statement out of here was like it wasn't something that was on your radar. And so we always talk about how our success and what we create in our physical world starts in here. And so like I would say like a really good lesson here for female chiropractors is that if that's even on your radar, you got to figure out a way how to like even just get that off your radar. Like it shouldn't even be a thought in your mind
Yeah,
because you're going to create what you're thinking about. We all know that. We all hear that all the
right,
time and it's so true,
right,
right?
right.
So mindset I think is everything. So and I think that's what propels women like us is that we're just so dang focused on what we want to do or what we want to create or what we want to achieve that all those other things don't even exist. Somebody once said to me, it was a male, by the way, when I was opening my practice, I was having a conversation with a friend who was a man, and he said, well, what are you going to do if your practice fails? And I was like, Steve, that I never even thought that. Like, why would you even say that? Because I never once thought like, okay, what am I like? What's my plan B? Like, there was no plan B.
Right.
I don't know, was I too stupid to even think of having a plan B, or it didn't even enter my mind. Like the thought didn't even enter my mind.
Yeah,
Right.
Nicole, we are so much alike. Yeah. And you said it. You said it. That it was, I think it was the naivety in me, and it sounds
Mm-hmm.
like in you that we didn't even think of that. It takes a lot for me to get upset and for someone to offend me. I'm like,
Yeah.
you try, but you're not going
Mhm.
to offend me, because I don't take, you know, when people say something, oh, like Peter will joke with me. He goes, you can't do that because you know why. And I'm like, why? Because you're a woman. And I'm like, oh, really? That's funny. You're funny because you know better. He goes, I know, I'm kidding. And I know, yeah, but I'm going to smack you too. Um, but, but yeah, it's like there was no way I wasn't going to be successful. And,
Right.
and, like like you, I had a couple of the older gentlemen, chiropractors in Massachusetts, say to me, "Oh, you're not going to be successful in the Back Bay." And I'm like, "Why?" They go, "Because nobody
Mhm.
else, our friends so and so and so and so, they tried to make it, but they didn't make it." I'm like, "Well, I'm going to make it, and I'll show you." And I remember a few years later, I saw them at a political thing, and I said, I made it. And they're like, "Oh
Yeah.
no, people," and they still, it was like, "Oh no, people don't make it on Newbury Street." And I'm like, I made it. And they're like, "Yeah, yeah." And so I just didn't talk to them about it anymore. It's like,
Yeah.
it's not worth it. I know what I've done, and yeah, the
Yeah. And
focus.
once again, another golden nugget that just came out of your mouth, whether you're a male or a female, people are going to have, for some reason, people have a tendency to tell you like all the things that you can't do. Like, same thing. Maybe it wasn't being naive or whatever, but um,
Yeah.
how many times do people say like, "Oh, as a woman, you can't do this"? I remember, even the people that love and care about you the most sometimes do unknowingly, like their intention is full of love. But I remember when I got pregnant with Cole, and I was, I wasn't young. I was 30 years old when I got pregnant with Cole. And I remember like being all excited about it. And Joe and I were like, we were thrilled. We were like, trying for a little while. And then we told my mom and dad. And once again, out of pure love, like I have a great relationship with my mom and dad. I wouldn't trade them for the world. They're excellent parents.
Yeah.
But out of pure concern for me, my dad goes, "Well, what are you going to do with the practice?" And I was like, "What do you mean? What am I going to do? I'm going to run the practice." I'm gonna,
Uh-huh.
like
Too much fun.
beyond his comprehension that I would be able to like be a mom and be a successful practice owner. It was so fascinating to me. And once again, goes back to the same thing we've been talking about all along is like that wasn't even a thought in my head until he said, "What are you gonna do with that?" That wasn't even like on my radar.
Right, because you know
Right.
that you would figure it out, right,
Yeah,
Nicole? And
sure.
I guess for the people, men or women, who are, are thinking, "Oh, I have to have a plan B." I guess what you are saying, and the nugget that you're saying is stay focused, stay in your lane, and just make it happen, and
Yeah.
don't think that there are any barriers.
Yeah.
So
Well, also, getting back to the LCW, you ladies out there, I highly encourage you guys to support that group. I'm part of the LCW. I think I'm coming this year to be one of the speakers, Patty, at one of the events. I'm very excited about that.
are you coming to
Um,
Florida or Phoenix?
Wherever when you tell me to show, I'll show up at both if you want. I don't care.
Okay.
that's that's the beautiful part of like being where we are in this stage in life and being this in this stage of practice. We have some freedom to do what we want and go with where we want to go and share with who we want to share with. But you were talking earlier about the physical demands of being a chiropractor, even back in chiropractic school, from like the stress of chiropractic school, the emotion of it, and just having a crash at the end of the, quarter, at the end of the trimester. And then, one of the things for me was adjusting and finding female mentors, because that was a breakthrough for me because physically, I don't know, have you felt like we as females adjust differently than men? Because
Oh, I think our size, yeah, even men, smaller men, yeah, we have
sure.
to. You have to adapt to, the table height. You have to adapt to that person who's on the table and their size.
Hmm.
And I think women are better adjusters than men. And part of it, Nicole, I think is the size of our hands because
Hmm.
I adjust with my fingers. Like if I do a cervical, I'm not
Hmm.
using the whole, knife edge. I end
Hmm.
up using my fingers and quick,
Hmm.
so you get
Yeah.
in there and boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, so so men could learn something from us in that
I
regard.
think so. I think so. I
Absolutely.
remember. like having some difficulty when I was learning how to adjust, because my hands are really small. I have some really small hands. And
Yeah.
then I remember like having some difficulty, and then I got a couple of female mentors in adjusting, and it
Yep.
totally changed and rocked my world.
Yeah.
And I remember a male chiropractor who was very supportive of female chiropractors said something exactly similar that you did. He said, Nicole, he goes, I think female chiropractors are way better than male chiropractors because us men, we can muscle the adjustment, but you
Right.
women can't. So you women actually have to have your technique down. You have to have speed, you have to have precision, right? And
Amen.
once he
Amen.
said that, it like clicked, and I was like, yeah, I could do this better, guy.
I can do anything better than you.
Yes, yes.
Oh gosh.
So one
Oh,
of the things that I love about you, Patty, and I've always admired about you, is you exude this confidence. You like it just flows out of you, like it's part of you. It's just naturally who you are. So, can you talk about a little bit about, having confidence in chiropractic and in yourself and what that looked like for you? Where did that
okay.
confidence come from? How'd you get it? Like, if you didn't have it, where'd you get it?
Okay, so I think there are two parts to that answer. And the first one is personal, like going through personal growth experiences. So I think our lives, just what gets presented to us, like you just
Mm-hmm.
had a big kibosh get presented to you in your life. And
Mm-hmm.
so from that, you're a different person, right?
Sure.
And so your life will never be the same. And the
Right.
same thing for any even little trauma that we have, your
Mm-hmm.
life is never the same. And how our parents handled that with us,
Mm-hmm.
if they coddled us and they kind of made it go away, boo boo, all that, let's kiss it, make it go away kind of thing. You don't always learn from it, but if you're allowed to go through it, like experience the pain of it, like my kids would fall, and I go say, you've got a smart body. Your body's going to heal you. You're okay. Tell me what you're feeling. Tell me what happened, to
Right.
allow them say you have the answers inside you, so my parents were like that. They weren't chiropractors, but they had that philosophy. So I think my parents helped me with my personal growth and my
Mm-hmm.
confidence. But the confidence came from knowing that I knew that I knew that I knew that I heard that for so many years, that growing up in that philosophy of, Patty, you can do this, you can figure this out,
Right.
and then going into chiropractic school. um, I was in college. I did a lot of personal growth experiences. I remember Ram Dass, Richard Alpert, and Timothy Leary, and
Mm-hmm.
reading Timothy Leary's Ram Dass's book, Be Here Now. And I was
Mm-hmm.
started reading it again the other day. Just
Right.
if you grow in who you are personally, you will be a better person. You will understand other people better. You will be more um yeah, like understanding, caring, kind, empathetic, because you
Mm-hmm.
get it, because there are parts of you that are in everybody else. And it's usually
Yes.
those parts that we don't like about ourselves that we see in others that
Right.
we don't like them for that. But hey,
Right.
here's a nugget, people. The things that you don't like in somebody, that's in you. So work on it.
Mm-hmm.
Work on
Right.
yourself. Don't blame that other person. Look
Right.
inside and work on that. So I think that's one, the personal growth. And then in chiropractic, to delve into the philosophy. It is a philosophy of life. It is not just an academic endeavor. It is a
Right.
philosophy that either you accept that there's a universal intelligence in all things, and that within you is this innate intelligence, and that innate intelligence is never wrong. It is 100%. If you don't
Right.
believe in those first two tenets, then
Mm-hmm.
then you're going to be a mechanical person who's going to be treating people and fixing their symptoms. And you know
Right.
what? Drugs work a whole lot faster and better.
Right.
So realize you're just an aspirin. And I'm sorry if I'm being so, like in your face about it, but it's true. I think the young students that they're taught you have to fix somebody when you get in the clinic, you're fixing their symptom. I'm like,
Hmm.
geez, what happens when it goes away and what happens when it doesn't go away? They go away.
Right.
So
Right.
being so clear about understanding the philosophy, and when I say that, I mean the 33 principles to be able to go through them and be able to see how do they apply into life. And you'll
Hmm.
see that, wow, yeah, that's really how I think. And if that's how you
Right.
think, then that's how you'll practice, and that's how you'll parent, and that's how you'll teach your people that come in to see you. You got a brilliant
Hmm.
body. All I'm doing is flipping the switches. Oh, Dr. Patty, you're doing more than that. No, really, in essence, I'm just
Hmm.
flipping all the switches that are on a dimmer switch, and I'm just
That's right.
turning it up to 100%. You're on a dimmer, you want to be at 100%. A chiropractic adjustment will help make that 100%. I can't tell you that at 100%, all your pain and your symptoms are going to go away because God knows I get adjusted all the time. I still have pain, I still have symptoms. I don't
Hmm.
say, oh my God, I have a symptom, I need to get adjusted. I say, I have a
Right.
symptom. I need to think about what is it in my life that I'm either doing or not doing that I need to do to help myself. I am in charge of me. And I teach that to my kids, I teach that
Right.
to my patients. It's your job, it's my job to know where the signals are off and how to turn them on. And your job is to take care of this beautiful vessel that you have been given.
It's so
People want to give
simple.
up. Yeah,
I love the simplicity of chiropractic.
yeah. So it's those two things, working on yourself and really having a very clear vision of what the philosophy is and then how do you apply it into
Hmm.
practice.
Right.
And if they need help, they could just ask us, right? They
That's
could,
why we're here.
yeah, I mean, that's what you do, that's what I do. That's why, we're
Yeah.
a good team.
Amen, sister. Patty, you're
Yeah.
not going to believe this, but we passed our 30-minute mark
Oh,
already.
oh my gosh. Okay. So, well, let's continue on the next one.
Yeah, yeah. So, well, you guys, we are going to wrap up because we're promising you, we're trying to keep it at 30 minutes, but you know us Jersey girls. We're going to get talking and, shit's going to happen. But we'll wrap up our first episode. Thank you guys for coming out and listening to our first episode here on oh my
Let's
gosh.
let's get real.
Let's
Let's
get
get
real. That's
real,
even the name of our
baby.
podcast.
Ooh. And we are
But
real.
we are real, and hopefully you guys got a lot of golden nuggets. Patty they just vomit out of her mouth. It's like golden nugget after golden nugget. So hopefully you guys wrote that down. And we will see you on the next episode.
Take care.